Welcome back to our short CTS video. I want to encourage you to seek a biblical education and why you need a biblical education. For all of you who have been called to the pulpit ministry, all of you have been called to teach and preach the full counsel of the Word of God. All of you have been called to teach and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's so crucial that we receive a biblical education if you're going to endeavor to represent the Lord with great integrity and honesty. We must also learn how to handle the text. You have to handle the text, the Word of God, accurately, precisely, the same way that a carpenter has to handle a ruler, a measuring tape to accurately measure before he can cut whatever it is that he's measuring to cut. And I want to encourage you. In fact, 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2, note what it says. This is a command. He says, preach the word. Preach the word. Be ready in season and out of season. And then he tells us four things. He says we are to reprove, we are to rebuke, we are to exhort, and with great patience and instruction. So notice what we're told exactly what we're called to do. You and I do not have the luxury just to do whatever we want with a text. I want to remind you what the great Dr. Steve Lawson once said. He said this, he said, those of you who preach, start with the text, stay with the text, support it. He says support it with other texts, and then stress the relevance of the text. Do you understand me? Text, text, text. You have to stay in the text. What does the Word of God actually say? And I want to encourage you that you start with the text, you stay with the text, you support the text, okay? And then you stress the relevance of that text. That's what we're called to do. We are called to preach the scriptural truth. That's what we're called to do. Above everything else, we're called to preach scriptural truth above cultural truth, above political truth, above ecclesiastical truth, or any other truth that exists out there. That's what you and I are called to do. You see, the truth just keeps the truth. That's what we have to do. Just keep preaching the truth. Both the unsaved and the religionists do not like the truth. You can only do two things with truth. Either you accept the truth or you reject the truth. But you cannot change the truth. You nor I, we do not have the authority to change the truth. We can only teach and preach what God's word actually says in its proper context. Listen, it does matter. It matters to God what is preached. It clearly does matter to God. And it matters to Him how it is preached. No man is free to preach whatever and however he chooses. We don't have that luxury. This is not my opinion or your opinion. This is not your interpretation or my interpretation. It's the Word of God. And that's what we endeavor to do here at Covington Theological Seminary. That is to challenge you to the depth and breadth of the Word of God and to train you on how to properly handle the Word of God.